Hey guys, so today we're actually not gonna talk, not even the slightest. Today you and I are going to listen to me talk to a new friend of mine. His name is Stefan, and he was in Gothenburg and came over for a visit. So I sat down and I had a lunch with him, and then I recorded our lunch together with my phone, so you have to excuse if the audio isn't of the best quality, but hopefully you'll find it interesting because he is a software developer who works primarily remotely, and he had some interesting thoughts on his experiences working in a all-remote environment with some of the challenges that come when a company decides to go all in on mob programming. So let's listen in. But, so how does a normal day look for you? Like, what do you like? Are you working on something interesting now that you want to share, or like, if it's private, that's okay.
Well, now I work with a company which is based overseas.
Okay.
We have an office in our town, which I don't visit right now. I work remotely.
Only?
Yes.
Nice. How does that feel?
Great.
What do you like about it?
Great. Well, there are just practical things, and that is, first, you can order grocery and so on to your. I don't have to like align with the times. You know, I will be in the office. I can pick it up and so on. So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's really good. But also, and I think that would be the part which would be interesting. We are doing the thing which is called mob programming.
Yeah. Remote mob programming.
Oh, yes, sir.
Wow. So you're in a video conference with all your coworkers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have to tell me about this. So this is awesome. I mean, because the thing is, mob programming, I've argued so long that some people think that it's a waste of time, and some people think it's really, really useful. What do you think? It depends. Exactly, it depends. And what does it depend on? What you use?
On the team.
On the team.
Okay. So currently we have 10 teams, 9, 10. 10 element is the DevOps. Okay, so it's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. That's not the important stuff. And so it is working for 9. It's not working for 1. 1 have serious issues with it, like serious issues.
Social feeling that is getting in the way, or does it feel annoying, or like what's the problem? What do you say?
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The mob programming could be like really ego crushing thing.
Oh yes, for sure. You have to be very humble.
You do something, and it's wrong, and everyone sees it right away.
Yes.
Right away.
There's a lot of pressure.
And it could be.
Yes.
It could be.
If it's not relaxed.
Now I saw like both sides of the coin. Like one of them could be like really, really dark. You don't want it. You'll feel sick before the call starts, because the mob session starts.
Yeah.
You will be attacked by another members. There will be emotional outbursts. There might be threats.
You must threats.
Threats.
Threats in the mob programming.
Let's call it.
Who do you work with?
Let's call it a friendly warning.
I have had those. I've had those where I'm trying to say something to you without saying it out loud. I'm encouraging you.
In my case, it went even through like this, like implying stage. It was like your name. You are the worst I've ever seen. You should seriously. I'm not saying as an offense to consider changing your profession. Not everyone should.
What the
yes.
Are you? Okay, yeah. I'm a little bit speechless now, dude. Like,
That was, and I was on the receiving end.
But how
that was horrible. But then, like,
what type of coworker tells a coworker that? I mean, serious. Okay, let's just.
I will not make a judgment.
Of course, let's not judge. Maybe there was a bad day or something like that. But like my first thought in that scenario is, all right, so. If the goal here is to get the code right, if the goal is to do some, because this is what I argue is like the perfect thing for mob coding, is when you have a complicated feature or something is extremely important, so that it's important that everybody has a shared understanding of how the code works, so that everybody there feels like, I know how this fits together because I was there and I got it explained to me, so there's the knowledge sharing, right? So if you start off that conversation with basically telling another person that, oh, their implementation is horrible, you're a bad person, etc., etc. What's actually happening is that you're just destroying the whole exercise.
Yes. I think
you can fix it. You can just give constructive feedback.
We are missing the context now.
Okay.
And the context is that I was really intrigued. That was something new. I wanted to try the mob programming, and that was one of the reasons I joined the company.
Because they did that sort of thing.
Because they did that sort of thing. Yes, sir. And I was like, oh, that's so great, because I don't have experience like in all these frameworks. I will learn so quick.
That's why it
will be hard, but just go for it. I was excited, and I was hard, like, and then we started, and no one wanted to do it in the team. Like everyone was doing it, and what I was actually doing, I was joining the calls of other teams
to sit on their sessions,
sessions and contribute and so on. And I was pushing to do the same thing in our team. And I hit the wall like so hard.
But just in your team, but the rest of the company?
Just in my team. Okay. Just in my team. And the rest of the company was doing the mob session. It was awesome, I joined there, it was like this great environment. We had some laughs, we get some things done, I was like, oh my god, you could do this. And it was like not even like the technical thing which you would normally consider, like, oh yeah, you should use this method instead of that, and if you use this pattern, then shit's coming up in the next week, and so on. It was like even the things like, oh, I do this manually. You can press those 3 buttons in your environment, and it's done. I was like, oh wow, it's awesome.
And you have this collective of people who have different experiences who can tell you and give you hints and tips. Mm-hmm. Oh, you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah. And it was like awesome. I was like, oh wow, this and that. And I was like, oh yeah, and we should mob like in our. And I was like, no, I hit hard. Yeah, so I pushed for that, and then we start mobbing because our management kind of push for it, and I don't know.
But in your team, did you have a team lead? Did you have a manager that was like there with you? No. I thought that's probably the problem right there. Because when you have a group like that, because I've faced challenges like that before, you have a set of programmers, they're a little bit either unwilling, or for some reason they don't really want to do these group type of activities. They kind of like working as lone wolves, so they have their way of doing things, and you can't solve that problem by just putting them in a group and then thinking that they're going to fix it themselves. They need to actually have someone who's trying to help them bridge this problem. It's very hard otherwise, because if nobody's pushing you a little bit out of your comfort zone so that you go towards more teamwork oriented work, you're not going to do that, because that's the whole problem, right? That you don't do it naturally, so you need some help.
Yes, I agree. I just think, yeah.
But it's hard.
I agree. When we started, it was like, oh, really? Like, really, we will mob, okay, yeah, you want to mob, Štěpán? Okay, right, so we will pick like this, like really hard ticket, that's no joke, and we will see how you will do.
Wait, so they used the mob they picked the hard things so that you wouldn't feel like you wanted to do mob programming?
No, they wanted to fail. He wanted to fail. That was like even like not implied. That was just said on the planning, right? Because that was I spoke to our manager, you know, and I had one-on-one with him like the day before the planning, right? And he goes like, "Why you're working separately? You should be like one team. Just go like one ticket, you know. You focused on it. Go for it. This is how it works, you know. So whatever you do, you will go and try your best to work with others, right? And at that time,
you're the new guy. Or you are the new guy.
Yeah. No,
Why the hell is this your? It should be the rest of the team's responsibility to make that happen.
Well, long story. I was the one pushing that.
As very common that the new person does. It's very common that the new person who comes in, they're very full of energy and they want to improve things, they want to make things better, and they want to like really make sure that everything goes well. So they bring in this energy, and then in your case, you get to sit with people who are not so open to.
Okay, first when I came in here, there was this programmer, person A1. And this person A1 was doing senior developer, quite good in what he was doing, like technically. I have to say, like really.
Yeah.
And he was doing the coding interviews and so on. And they were sending him like lots and lots of programmers in there, which is hard to get, at least in Prague, where I come from.
Everybody has hard problems finding programmers.
And he refused every single one of them. So he said like, oh no, not good, you know, you should like, no. So he refused every single one of them. So the management kind of went out of the patience, and he rejected even me, you know. But then, you know, they really liked me, like the management, like the my direct and the upper management, you know. I made a good impression, I think, and they hired me.
You're sitting here with me, and I'm fucking impressed.
Oh, really? Thank you. That's
Holy
really
shit, dude! I'm gonna recommend you to see if we can snipe you to this company instead.
I was. Well, thank you first of all. That's a huge compliment.
But dude, you fucking deserve it. Holy shit, I'm not even wearing a shirt and you are.
Yeah.
But please continue. So because I think it's so interesting that you're saying this, because it's something that I had a talk about that's going to come out at some point, where I got this question like, how do you deal with a bad senior? Because what you're describing is, to me, this is a bad senior.
Oh, I had two in a row.
Oh, two. Oh,
I have a two in a row. And at the first, I thought that guy is just dick, you know. Yeah. And on the second one, I was like, maybe I'm the problem.
Maybe, but at the same time, you should know that if you have like a elitist, bitter senior who is really good. I'm not saying that they are these people. I'm saying that just in general, if you have such a person, that is like having a cancer in a company, because the thing is that they are so influential. They have so much knowledge that people, the management and stuff like, they respect them because they are so good at what they do. But the dangerous part is that they can also crush like other developers.
Okay, so the first one, he really did not like me. Since day one, given that he did not recommend hiring me, but they hired me anyway, right?
Ah, okay.
I did not knew at that time that was the case, right? I thought like, oh well, yeah, I made it. You know, I went through it like and my coding interview wasn't the best, you know. I didn't knew anything about the framework.
Was it your first job, or was it like?
No. Well, no. Previously, I was working in Switzerland for a company which produces factories, like real factories. Like, let's say you are Nestle, and you can. Oh, I still have the company shirt. They gave me the shirt because. They kind of liked how I speak about the features and so on. So
you can represent now.
Yeah. So there when this all world like in German it's mess. Like like E3, for example. Like what is the called of that event? Convention. Okay,
Yeah.
so convention, but it was for that like food supply, making stuff. So they liked really much how I speak about it, how I explain things, and so they made me present the product, even though I was there for first month, right? And that I was like, oh really? Oh, thank you very much.
Well, I can hear that you're fairly well spoken. I mean, you speak very like.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think you're not doing like you know how. I mean, if you listen to me, I say you know all the time, and you're very calm. You're like,
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I can see that.
We need to meet more. Will boost my self-esteem. So I was presenting the solution. It was like really good product because it was solving like not one but multiple problems at the time, like which the industry had, right?
Yeah.
So it even happened. Like it was kind of embarrassing, but. It happened that like someone I presented the project to, he then went around the place and he grabbed the guy from another like stand, you know, and dragged it to our place. It's like, you see what they are doing? You should be doing that. You should be doing that, you know, like I don't want this and that and that. Look at this. This is what I need. But that was kind of like...
That's what we call user feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Or customer feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, so that was the previous job.
Yeah.
And now I have this one.
Yeah.
Which he didn't like me, but he was kind of ignoring me. He was a senior, so I tried to ask him for like some advices, but I didn't really.
He didn't help you.
I was not able to get like something which I would actually be able to use in my work. It was even the approach, him like the body language was like not warm, let's say.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. Strict, not moving all that much.
Yeah, not even one word replies.
Yeah, exactly. Short replies that I try to show you that I want to converse with you as little as possible. That, and I know exactly.
Yeah. And that was like so. So what I started, like even from the beginning, I was reaching out to overseas teams, right, for help. Like, okay, I have this problem. I tried this, and this. I have no idea what's happening in there. I tried this, but here this happened, you know, like and. Now I don't know the syntax for that thing, you know, like I tried to Google it, but we are trying some like plugin or did we write it ourselves, but like
been there 100 times.
What is happening in there? So they were really helpful, you know. Like, and it was like, and I was able to make like steps and steps, like I don't know.
So your team, which like you reached out to an overseas team, that were you all working on the same product, or were they?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Cool. So they did have some knowledge then. All right. Good.
Yeah.
I am very sorry that you have had to go through this. It sounds horrible.
Don't worry, it's experience.
Yes, that is what it is. Like some would call it baptism by fire, which I can relate to. But shit. So this is the first one, but you had a second one as well.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. One more thing I wanted to mention. I became a Scrum Master for the team.
What?
I became the Scrum Master because the senior developer did not want to do it at all. You know, he did not want like anything.
Did he get angry when you got to be?
Oh, very much. Well, he got angry, but he got furious when as a Scrum Master when I start.
Yeah, because
when I start telling him like, oh, when we have the ceremony, you should be paying attention.
Exactly, because now you're like a boss.
And he was furious. Then at that time he even started giving me advice, but it was a bad advice. Like he was telling me like, oh yeah, like, and I was like, okay, but I have this like index thing in here, and I did not knew that the framework kind of generates that thing for you, right? I was like, oh yeah, you do it manually, you manually edit there, and then I found out that's not true. Like
No.
even I made a change, you know, and IntelliJ told me like, oh, this is not included in the Git, right? I was like, okay, so
Is he trying to sabotage you?
yeah.
Yep. Oh my god!
Yeah,
What the fuck,
yeah,
dude?
yeah, and even like I would be doing like on one ticket, and every time it come to the code review, he would be there, and he would have like multiple like regards, and so he would stop me in there, right? And not entirely by his fault, you know, it was also my unskillness in that area.
Dude,
but I was not able to push through it, right? Because like, oh, you should, and let's say there was like this two ways how to do it, right? I was the proponent of like doing the logic on the back end, because if we change the front end, you know, then we can like blah blah blah. And so he let me implement the whole thing in the back end, and then it came to the code review, and then he's like, no, I think you should do this and that.
The other way.
And he blocked it, right? And I was like, oh my god. And at that time it was like, even that, you know, new framework, you know, like it was hard for me. It was I was struggling. So it took me a long time even doing on the backend side, right? I did not know Spring, I did not know JPA, I did not, like, everything new to me, like magic, like these annotations, what? So I did it, and then he told me like, oh yeah, and then he again like, stop it, and then so my code did not get pushed through, right?
Yeah.
And it took really long time. So the business priority changed, you know. So it was like scratched, right? Like the work went in vain. And then he, like, the next topic on the retro was like, no code from Štěpán. Like, and I remember, because it was not on the big bucket, you know, at that time, you know. So I was there, sitting there, and he was like, oh yeah, so there is no code from Štěpán.
So then he was huge. Oh my.
And I was like,
dude, we need to put this guy on some wanted list or something.
At that time, I kind of see something coming, you know. So I had to branch all the changes on my local
Oh my god!
So that meeting was like, oh, there's no code from Štěpán, isn't working, you know. I was like, I have all my commits like in here for demonstration anytime.
This is like a fucking movie, dude.
And that was basically it. And
dude, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you and say this. This is, dude, you are fucking resilient. I have to, dude. Yes, give me this. Thank you. Holy shit.
And then that's my superior tells me that.
You are fucking amazing, dude. You survived this.
Yeah, that's just the first half. I didn't tell you.
Oh, so there's more now. Okay. Yeah.
Well, eventually he left the company.
Yeah.
He got like this official notice or something, because he was not really nice to anyone in company.
So they fired him.
No, he got, like, before you fire someone in Czech Republic, you get this progress, like you gave him some warning, and after that warning you can fire him.
Yeah.
But the first warning is like official letter of like notice, like, hey.
Yeah. We have the same thing here. Like you get a few strikes before they can fire you.
Okay. Yeah. So he got the first strike. I'm not exactly sure how it works in Czech Republic if you have multiple. I never deal with that situation, so I don't know.
Well, hopefully no. Most people don't have to know this, because they try to actually be helpful in the workplace. And
yeah, so I don't know how it exactly works. But he got the first strike, maybe final, maybe the first out of 3, I don't know. And he said like, no, fuck it. And it basically just said like, be respectful to your manager and to your coworkers.
He said that.
No. That was in the letter. You know, like it said like you should be respectful towards others. Towards others. You know, and that was what he received.
Okay.
I looked at it and it's like, fuck this. and he quit. And he did quit.
Wow.
And so he was by the people on the U.S. coast. He was considered being bully, you know. So he was like attacking people in code reviews and so on. So I was not the only one who was getting.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. So then we hired a new employee, new senior developer.
So to take his place.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And he...
Is this douchebag number 2? You don't have to say it.
We did not have the nicest time together.
See, this is how I know that you are a sales or manager type of stuff, because you choose the right words. I say douchebag, you say we did not see to turn. We did not see the same way on these things.
Well, I believe all people around us, everyone has like good in them,
yes,
and the bad in them, and I try to bring the light side around the people around me. I believe.
How are you not running that company right now? You're saying all the right things, dude. If my boss heard you talk like that, he would not let you go without actually giving you an offer.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's my. I changed 2 bosses, and both of them like me really much, and the second one is telling me like, you will be a good leader.
Yes, you will.
You will be a good leader. I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. Like, yeah, but currently I'm in need of help. I still like really suck at the coding. I'm able to produce something, you know, but dude, I know my place.
and I get that, like, because this is the thing about programming in like IT and so forth. It is an expert field. That is what it is. It's a highly technical field, and before you get that authority sensation where you kind of see like, all right, I can move around here and I feel comfortable and I feel confident, you need to get to a certain level of experience so that you feel like, oh yeah, I can produce. But you have the second part, which is the thing that the senior did not have. You have the leadership, you have the social skills and all of this stuff. He's going to be stuck for the rest of his career. He's never going to progress because he is only good at the coding part. But that's just half the problem. The other part is to be able to lead people, collaborate with people, and because it's not about the code, it's about the results, and the results come from both code and people.
Yes.
And you have that part. But the second guy, what was the problem? Like, what happened?
Well, the second guy, there was, I think, 1 or 2 mistakes which I did. You know, like it wasn't like completed. I cannot say like I did not do anything wrong, and that might be. I still have my doubts if that was enough, but it was okay. We started the mode programming, and we started the first session, you know.
Yeah.
And he started doing something, and I said, "Oh no, you don't have to like this." Maybe I was too rushy, or maybe I was pushing him too much, you know. I saw like he's heading to the bad direction.
Yeah.
You know, so like, oh no, you should do this and that.
A little bit micromanagement, kind of like.
Oh, it kind of is when you are navigating. You know, I was in the navigator role, so you are telling the guy what he should type, where to type it, and you say it so that everyone on the team can be a part of the thinking process, right? So they can say, oh no, that's you know, that doesn't make sense, and so on.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do that, but there was a tension, you know, and I could even see like right when we stopped, he was sitting next to me. I was in the office, and he didn't even look me in the eyes, you know, like us.
So he was getting upset. He was getting
angry. Yeah. I was like, and I did not understand it at the time. I was like, oh well, what's happening, right? And he was like, you know, like not even you know, like,
They wouldn't even look at you.
Waiting, you know. I was like, okay, so I was like, no, I'm really, I don't know what's happening right now. I want to say that I'm really glad that you are on the team. I do appreciate you here. I noticed that I can see that something happened. I don't know what's wrong, you know. So and I don't want to do it with you. I'm really glad you are here, you know. And he told me that I was like really pushy, you know. So I apologized because I did not realize that I am. I probably was because I could see him, you know, how.
You
how
could see
it
the
felt.
reaction.
I could see the reaction. So there's definitely that could be improved on my part, right? So that was the thing. That was one instance. I don't know. I'm still a little bit confused because when I talk to anybody, I will say please, could you do this and that. It's not typical for me that I would speak to anyone in authoritative way, even though I am in the position of authority.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's the best.
But you know, some
way.
people are very sensitive even to just having that someone intrude on their space, even while you're saying, even if you're very nice about it. Especially if it happens, if you keep on saying like, could you please do that? Could you please do that? I mean, it's all in the tone and the perception of that person.
There's definitely was something on my part. So
sometimes it's a two-way street.
That was something. Oh yeah. What I tend to like look at like when I come into like some situation like. So usually I look at it like, okay, yeah, so something can change, right? It could be me, it could be the other part. Changing the other part is like unbelievably hard, and it's much easier to change my approach to achieve the goal which I want to drive this train to.
Yep.
So that might be mistake number one, and then mistake number two was that he gave me something to read, and it was good Java book, you know, and I did not do it. At that time, I had a problem on the front end, you know. It was Java. We already switched JavaScript. We already switched to TypeScript. So I was doing that, and I had some problem in there, you know. And the end of the sprint is approaching, you know. So I spent all my time like doing that, and I did not look at the Java book.
And he found out.
Yes.
Did he feel he felt that you ignored him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted you to give you this, and then you didn't take it seriously.
Yeah. That was when I remember, because I was at that time my manager was really like, oh, you need to make this work, you know, like ask your now this guy is the second guy is here, ask him for, and I was telling him like, yes sir, I will do that, but when it was difficult to get anything. I was given some advice, but it was something general, which was true but not useful in my case. Like for example, okay, I would say, okay, so I cannot connect to my endpoint on the back end because there's something happening on the front end and I don't understand it, you know. This is this class, you know, in here, and the advice I was given was like, oh, okay, so comment it line by line and uncomment it and see what happens. Like, okay, I already did that, right, or something like that, but it's like, sure, I will try that, so I can make mistakes, or but I did it once
he didn't
again.
come to your desk.
No. That was the night and
day.
Pair
program on
that was the night and day when I reach out to my US colleagues, you know.
Yep.
Like they either would you know, look at me with the problems. They would actually spend 10, 30 minutes just looking at the problem to understand what is happening, and then like propose some solutions, right? And that was awesome. That was just awesome, because then I say, okay, so here I am. This is like these 3 ways which I can try. I understand it now.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And I went and work on it, and then I try these things. One of them works, or none of them works.
Yeah,
then I would go back. Yes. But I really struggled to get it from the second guy. I really struggled. It was always like this and that. Only when I spoke to my manager about it, like, yes sir, I'm trying. I'm really trying, but it's really hard to get it, And previously, I was reaching out to the US guys, right? But now it was kind of forbidden, because I should be trying this,
yes.
And I got into some problems actually for speaking to the overseas teams in my team, because there was this sentiment that they are the evil, we are the good ones, which I did not see at all. I tried to explain it to the first programmer at first, then to the team, and never really. I wasn't successful.
The thing that you are describing right there, this happens for every company who starts from a small group of people, where because there's only so many people that you can keep in your social circle and feel comfortable with. And then the company grows and it splits. And even by just moving to different parts of the office, there will be a you and them type of thing, because you own different things, and the people that you spend every day with are the people you get close to. When you do remote work, it gets even worse, because now there's also a physical distance, and all of a sudden this sort of you're all working together, you're all supposed to be contributing, but even so, some people feel like it's us against them.
Yeah.
Because you get evaluated as different teams.
In the team I was working on, it was promoted on a daily basis, like
that it was them and you.
Yeah. And I tried, no, it's not, and they are not like evil-minded when they are asking you to change the name of the variable. It's not like ill will to stop you in the tracks. It's like because we have some coding standards. They might be stupid, yes, but they are trying to pass through them, right? Mm-hmm. So we have something, and the first guy saw it like, oh yeah, they are so stupid. So the only thing that they really can catch is the name of variable, but the important stuff, the logic and so on, that's the never mind. Yeah, so we had that, and then the second guy that manager talked to him as well, right? So he then would go and schedule a meeting one-on-one, it would be really nice and weird at the same time. It was half threats and half I will help you, in another company I can guarantee you will be fired, no question about it, no question about it, but I will help you.
I'm trying to be your friend. You are the incompetent one, but I will be your friend now.
Yes. I will.
How did that feel?
I will help you. Confusing, and I was kind of really stepping on the eggshells, because that was the second guy, right? I had bad times with. Yep. So now I'm really thinking that it's me.
And exactly, it's you. You feel like it's you, and your you start maybe thinking that maybe your manager is gonna oh, this is the second guy. Is Stefan gonna cause a problem with the third guy?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking okay, so I'm screwing this up somehow. I don't know.
You blame yourself.
So course. I'm asking the team for help. Okay, so if I'm doing this and that, I really don't see it. Please help me. I'm well-intentioned, but I cannot this make work. So if you see something, please tell me. Please tell me. I'm asking you for help, because I just don't see it. It seems to me. And he would okay, so he would and he would think oh, when I spoke to our manager, we had this same manager at the time, you know. "Oh, I think he's changing your mind about you, you know. Like, maybe, you know, like even like month, you know, and he will not like you anymore." And so on. Like, "Oh, you know, I can feel like, it's like trying to get under my skin." And at that time, I was like, well, but he would tell me like, "Oh yeah, like I will help you, no worries." And then 3 days would pass, or 4, I don't know.
And then it's back to normal again.
Well, hold your horses. We would have a retro,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Or planning. Oh well, retro and planning, we kind of like they are after each other, so it's kind of mushed into one meeting. And he will start with like, "We all know who's the problem here."
Nice. He's building up to it. Okay. Who was the problem, Stefan?
Well, me.
Oh, you
me.
don't say.
Yeah. And he explicitly say, you know, that was the worst. This is not what the developer should behave like. That's the like even the junior like people I saw like, you know, and you should be fired because you are not contributed. At one time, I had the team. I was in a room which was like this size. There was like 7 people in there, including me, or 6, and they were telling me to quit. Like,
Your entire team.
Yeah.
What?
Well. It's a little bit divided. There are 3 people which were really local. One which is scared for the job, so he will just go with the flow.
Yeah, of course.
Like, his wife lost the job, you know, so he's now the only one.
He's not gonna take any risks.
He's not gonna like. And then we have one guy which is like junior-ish.
So his
tester.
voice. Okay, and then that means that his voice doesn't carry so much weight.
Yeah. Well,
but this is what I meant by a bad senior is the most dangerous person in a company because their voice carries so much weight.
Yeah. So now I have a PO, Scrum Master, and there was one developer which kind of stand up for me. By standing up for me, I say he would say like, "Oh yeah, you would be fired," but I think this is not our decision. That this is the management decision, and we should not be discussing this.
Yep.
That was the thing he said. Now I know that he gets shit for saying just that. You know? I remember one of the testers. He was assigned a ticket, like some like UI change, you know, and I basically did it for him. Right, so because at the time I saw like he got some shit from the second guy, right? "Oh, you should do this and that," and he was just torn apart. He could not focus, you know, like, so when everyone left the office, you know, I stayed with him in there. And I saw him, right? So I grabbed my chair, go to his place, and I was like, "Okay, so what do you have here?" Like, I'm curious, you know. And he was all over the place. He started like writing this. "Oh no, I have to," you know. And he changed one thing, just that was not the entire statement. Then he switched file and start modifying another file.
Yep.
So.
He's emotionally in turmoil.
Oh yeah. He was not able. He might be normally, you know, but now he was
because
like
of all the stress,
totally
the pressure.
Yes. And so like, okay, slow down. We did it. I told him what to type, where. I reassured him every time we got new error in the console in the browser, like, no, that's good, that's different error, you know, it's progress, you know,
another error is progress. Yeah. Yes, it is.
So let's go, and we finished it, right? You should see his face at the end of the day. That was just awesome, because he was like worried, he was like all over the place. And when he was leaving the office, we had it committed, it worked, green build, you know, like everything. And he was like, "That was so nice." But what I'm heading to is we had a retrospective, and at that time, like everyone agreed that I'm the worst one, right? So he wouldn't dare mention my name, you know. He wouldn't dare be associated with me like in any way, right? In any way.
Guilty
And so
association, guilty by association.
Yeah. So and like other people were encouraged not to speak with me. Like at the time they had like private chat, you know, normal we use Slack, and I would be excluded out of like
from the private chat.
Yeah, and well, it was kind of fine because they went out there, and I get a little bit less shit. But at the same time, they were talking about like some work-related things, you know. And then it would be like, oh yeah, well, how come you don't know that? Well, it's like, well, never mind. So after some incidents like that, and my superior told me when I was like telling him, it's like, okay, so everything communicate like in the Slack, so it's visible. And then he like saw like few things, how what kind of response I'm getting, so on. He just saw it like for a few days. Like my new superior, he changed, you know, like, and he saw it. It's like, okay, so here's what's happened, Štěpán. I wanna take you from this team to put it on another, but I don't want to do it to you. I want you to talk to the other guys, if you can make it work, you know. It is a remote team, so on. So
yeah.
we kind of. So now I'm working that one, right?
So it's a new team, new
team. Yeah.
How is that new team?
Oh, awesome!
It's much better.
Awesome! It's like so much better. I got actually
you're
praised.
working with the US people now.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, with different one than I was reaching out.
Because dude, I was about to adopt you at this point. I mean, shit, dude, if you were still in that team, I mean, shit, I would have felt like it was my, I guess as a fellow human, my job to help you somehow. Oh my.
Yeah. So and it completely changed, right?
Yeah.
From being the problem on the retrospective, I suddenly like get praised, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you teach us this and that, you know. We did not do that. We did not knew that, and so on. So I'm trying to contribute. So like from 2 out of 3 retrospectives, there would be written my name with some praise, you know, like yeah, like awesome this and that. And
I have no problems understanding that.
At that time, like it was agreed in the team that I'm the problem, you know, and when I will leave, everything will be fine, right? So it was for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was about to ask, but what happened for real?
It was for 2 weeks, and now it exploded.
Yes.
Like exploded because
the problem isn't you. The problem is that now that you're gone, the next problem is going to arise where these people who are this aggressive and hostile to each other, they're just going to find the next weak person or the next person that they can find to blame or some other thing, and it's going to cause another problem.
Yeah.
Because you're not the problem. The problem is the team spirit.
Yeah. So all what I'm saying
but
right
you're
now
out of that shit now.
Is to answer your question, like can the mob programming works or not?
Yeah.
So in that team, it was not.
Yeah.
And in the other teams, it was. So it really depends on a personality of the people. I believe that if you have like some like aggressive person like in this sense, it will be immediately shown. It will be immediately visible in the mob programming environment.
Yep.
But it can be kind of hidden from even management and so on if the people work separately, because not everything gets magnified, especially like this personal things. The process is admittedly slower than, well, sometimes it's slower. It depends. because sometimes it's slower because you have just single thread, right? But the single threads now has like multiple checks because there are multiple people looking at it.
Yes.
And
It's slower if the problem is very simple to solve, but if it's a very complicated problem that is requiring a lot of different perspectives, or maybe it's what I call backbone code. It's the code that everybody needs to understand. It's actually much faster because otherwise you're just going to get a bunch of feedback in the reviews and a lot of different questions and rework.
Yes,
So
exactly. That's what happened to regressions. We are calling in our company.
Yeah, regression is very normal term.
Okay.
Yeah. Regression.
Okay. So that's what happens, and even the people which have nothing to do with programming, they will stand up for the more programming. Because they said, like, even the finance guy who we are reporting, sending our form, like filling the hours, like, it's like, oh yeah, like more programming. And he did not see a line of the code. Well, maybe, but you know what I mean, right? The only thing he knows, like, we have no regressions as so freaking much as we had.
The system seems more stable. There's less problems.
Yeah, it means that if we get some feature, it means we got the feature. It doesn't mean we got a feature, but we will be fixing it for next 3 months or so.